Good afternoon, everyone. This is Steve with Real Progressives, and I had an opportunity to speak to one of our loyal followers the other day, an immigrant from Poland, who gave me some insights as to what it was like to live in a totalitarian state, a state that was oppressive, that monitored your behavior, that lied to you, that was full of propaganda. And she made mention that her father was assassinated by the party people that had tried to control thought, tried to control how you vote, tried to control, how you live life. And the outpouring of the propaganda, by the people, it wasn't just to misinform. This was the part that took me totally by surprise. The propaganda was meant to tire you out, so that you gave up, so that you stopped fighting for what you knew to be right. How do you fight a fight in a situation where they just have so much power and so much money and so many resources to literally overflow you and overwhelm you with, just with bullshit? How do you fight an enemy that has endless resources, that can literally tell you anything, wear you out? And then watch what happens when the people just vanish. People stop fighting, and there you are, left all by yourself, trying to carry the torch. Then what? Now what do? You cave in. You die. That's what happens. And that's the problem with propaganda. It's not just that it lies to you. It's not just that it tells you a story that's not true. It's that after a period of time, the truth tellers wear out. They don't get enough encouragement. They just tire out. The fight is too freaking hard. And then one by one, they fall in line. And that's what propaganda does. It doesn't just misinform. It literally kills your will to fight. Because how else do you get truth out there? The prevailing narrative is that X, Y, and Z. My political bend is largely built around an economic bend. I try and tell people that taxes don't fund spending, but yet wave after wave after wave after wave of brainwashed lemming comes back and says, yes, taxes do fund spending. Of course they fund spending. But they don't. Taxes don't fund spending at the federal level. No matter how many times you say it, it's not true. So just on that alone, now you take into effect all the things that the Clintons are doing. And you take into consideration all the stuff that happened during the election. Your intuition tells you this is bullshit. This is complete crap. Yet every single publication tells you Clinton's the first woman. She's glorious. She's the most qualified. Don't let your eyes tell you this. It's not true. And so what happens? You go in and people start fighting. They're like, yeah, screw that. We're not going to go with the flow. Fuck that. We're not falling in line. But they keep wearing you down, and they keep wearing you down, and they grind you to a nub. And then eventually you fall in line. Now, I'm hoping that there is enough electronic media out there, there is enough resistance in this country to prevent that from happening. But in places like Poland and in Russia, where they had totalitarian regimes, they would wear the populace down, the people that wanted to resist. They would let them talk, let them flap gums, they'd marginalize them, they would make them look like they were idiots, like they were crazies. But eventually, if they got too close to the truth, they disappeared them. They just vanished. Now we're seeing a lot of people that a lot of innuendo about people that are, may or may not have been assassinated or died from, natural causes. We don't know. But one thing we do know, the propaganda war is on like Donkey Kong. And what is our way of combating that? How do we combat that? So the more she talked to me on the phone, she would sob and she cried and she wept. And she told me, I love this country more than anything in the world. I came to this country because I believed in the mirage, apparently, of freedom. I believed that America was that shining star, that shining light of freedom. I believe in this country. I love this country, Steve. What can I do to make it so it doesn't turn out like Poland did when I left Poland? She goes, I see it. She goes, when we were there, we knew when it was bullshit, but we couldn't do anything about it. We were powerless. And all the lemmings would rush to the rescue. They would sit there and say, no, 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 you're wrong. And they would sing the party line, double plus good. And this is what I'm seeing now. People have stopped even the veneer of resisting. They've just literally opened their mouth and put right on the fire hose and said, but seriously, this is very, very serious. Very, very serious. How do we fight back against propaganda? We do our best at Real Progressives, and every other place is trying to do their best. But how exactly is it that we can prove anything? They can say anything, and they've got a huge apparatus of media complicit and shilling for their lies. Matt Taibbi wrote a great article that talked about how, it's certainly right to lambaste some of the stupid stuff that Trump said. But is Trump the only moron out there saying stupid things? Hardly. Yet every single article you see around is Trump, Trump, Trump. The media has been complicit in building this propaganda machine. They have been the propaganda machine. And they are who we have to unplug from. And yet, to what do we do? Do you all understand how expensive it is to actually do real, earnest journalism? Do you realize how difficult it is to get entree to the actual people to interview them? Do you know how hard it is to travel around? And what happens when Clinton decides, should she get into the presidency? What happens when Clinton decides that we have a major, major terrorist issue going on? And now all of a sudden, we've got to shut down access to the internet. Now all of a sudden, we've got to shut down the dissidents. All of a sudden, they're hacking our stuff. They're starting to look and see if we're creating problems. Oh my God, is Steve saying something wrong? Think about that for a minute. I'm not here to create paranoia at all, but I am here to say that I spoke to someone who's lived in a communist regime, who cried for a good solid 40 minutes on the phone with me in an accent that I could barely understand every word, and I strained and struggled to listen to every word. I was so blown away that someone that follows this page felt so compelled to call me and talk to me on the phone about this. And I felt compelled to tell parts of that story in this. The idea that they can just wear us out and get us to check out of the game. And you know how I know that that's happening right now? I look at the metrics on the page. Facebook is throttling our reach. People are not getting the fact that we're going live. Those notifications aren't going out to, look folks, we got 70,000 plus people that follow this page. And there are literally 66 people right now, 68, watching. 70 now. Even if it went to 200, it wouldn't matter. We have 72,000 people that follow this page. And we can barely crack the code to getting out there. And people, my inbox is filled every day. I mean, people are contacting me on LinkedIn. People are contacting me all over the place, trying to find out how they can help us and work with us. And yet we can't even get more than 70 people to watch a live stream at one time, when I know damn well there's more looking. So Facebook is throttling us. The people are checking out. They're bored. They're tired. They're worried. They're sick about the lies. They're like, what good is my vote? What good is it for me to pay attention to this stuff? Because it's all one big gigantic lie. So we've got to find a way, folks, to be truth in media. We've got to find a way to elevate our presence so that we can continue telling the truth and dig for deeper stories and dig for deeper truths and have access, whether we're filing massive FOIA requests, which may be our next step in this process at Real Progressive, is to try to start asking these tough questions and getting, hopefully, responses back without them completely redacted. But the propaganda machine is not just there to lie to you, it's to wear you out and to make you not care anymore. Don't let them be successful. Don't let them be successful, because people start disappearing when they start telling the truth and there's no one there to say, I'm with him. We have got to stick together in this. And we've got to keep making sure that our friends don't check out of this process, because our struggle is more than a campaign. You know what I'm saying? Our struggle is far more than a campaign. And if all you were here for was Bernie Sanders, well, you really missed out. Because there's an awful lot going on that we need to do now. And even now, the propaganda machine, they're trying to take the blame off the DNC, trying to take the blame off of Soros, trying to take the blame off of everybody that was identified to be conspiring behind the scenes, and try to blame it on Russia. The Russians did it. The Russians are trying to meddle in our affairs. And that propaganda war will allow them to suddenly implement even more stringent NSA rules that will oversee us and spy on us. So we've got to stay vigilant, folks. You can't check out. We can't afford for you to check out. We need you to be part of our team so that we have people to help back us up. Not just us, but all the truth tellers out there, all the people fighting to keep truth alive. In any event, this is Steve with Real Progressives, and I'm hoping you guys take your friends and help keep them awake. Because if we aren't awake, they will absolutely wear us down and implement every single thing that we fear, starting with the TPP. This is Steve Grumbine. Have a great day.